When are you going to realize that the system is not supporting you? Is there going to be a time where you say, you know what, enough, and actually take your own agency back? Now you might be saying, hold on. What is this energy? This is not the grounding hour I'm used to. And in some ways you're right. In today's session, I might be a bit of a negative Nancy. I'm just kidding. I won't be. But I will be facing head on the realities of the systems we live in and how we can navigate them while also actively working for change. We live in a culture that profits when you believe you're failing at getting an advanced enough education, failing at eating right, failing at exercising enough, failing at raising your kids, failing at your job, just failing. It sets the illusion that progress doesn't even count unless it's extreme, unless you're the best, unless you achieve the best, and that small wins have no value. But here's the truth. You're not the problem. Well, you're not all of the problem. Just kidding. You're not a problem. You live in a system. The system is the problem, and you learning how to navigate it is a solution to get beyond that. You've been trained to ignore your body's signals, to think more food, more workouts. I need all these different types of foods, more products, and even more effort just to fix everything. But today, we're breaking that cycle. You don't need to buy anything else. You don't need to eat any brand new product. You just don't need to do any of those things. And it stops today. While moderation is one of the best lessons in wellness, let's be honest, the wellness industry doesn't reward moderation. Portion sizes in the US have more than doubled since the 1970s. Think about it. A soda that once came in a 6-ounce glass is now the size of your entire forearm. Research shows the portion size effect of basically when we're served more, we eat more, even if we're not hungry, because it's there, because we don't want to waste food or our money, because. And the same messaging that we get in food spills into any type of movement, exercise, self-worth. We're tracking our steps, our calories, our heart rate. We need new devices to track our steps, our calories, our heart rate. We need new apps for different things to tell us how to optimize all of these new metrics that we have access to. And all of these metrics consistently remind you that enough is just out of reach. That's not an accident. The system is designed to make progress feel invisible, and it keeps you chasing what you already have, just enoughness. It also convinces you that progress without perfection has no weight, that rest is like weakness and counterproductive, and that if you can't show your transformation, it doesn't count. So ask yourself, what would it look like to stop performing wellness and start participating in it? So I know I keep referencing enough, and it kind of seems like this lofty idea, but you can really break this down to even get an understanding of what enough looks like inside your own body. Let's talk about what actually happens in your body when enough disappears. Your brain and all of the other systems in your body are constantly talking, almost like two friends on walkie-talkies. One says, I'm hungry, and the other one says, okay, I'll send some food down. Normally, when you've had enough, your body sends a message back that says, we're good. But when you're under constant stress, that message gets fuzzy. It's almost like you have static on the line, but the reward part of your brain gets louder, almost like it's shouting. It's looking for a reward, and it's like, eat something quick, drink something, do something to feel better now. Meanwhile, the break part of your brain, the one that helps you stop, goes quiet. And in these situations, your brain really is doing its best to protect you from stress by finding comfort. It's just that because of the stress, it's looking for more instant gratification or energy, quick energy, instead of really understanding what's happening. And it's part of your body's natural response. It's like fight or flight. And when your body starts to feel calm and safe again, those two systems reconnect, the static disappears, and they can now better communicate. That's when your natural hunger and fullness hormones, ghrelin, which says, I'm hungry, and leptin, which says, I'm full, start working together again. And this is when you can finally hear your own body's enough again. So what's the science behind this? Under stress, cortisol levels rise and dopamine spikes, making high reward foods like sugars and fats feel irresistible. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, the brain's self-control center, becomes less active. The result? You keep eating or reaching for comfort even when your body has technically had enough. When you pause, either by breathing slowly, eating mindfully, or lowering stress, your brain regains access to those break signals, and hunger hormones regulate again. If you want to test this out, here's one small evidence-based habit that you can try the next time you're having a meal. Halfway through your meal, just put your fork down. Take 3 slow breaths in and out. You can even do something like the box breathing that we've tried before. After that, ask yourself, do I need more food, or do I just need to slow down? Research shows that by slowing your eating pace by just a few minutes can reduce overeating by up to 15%. And that's not about all of a sudden becoming this food discipline warrior. No, it's just about giving your body enough time to speak up. When your body feels safe, it remembers how to say enough. But when it's stressed, it forgets how to listen. And just like with eating, somewhere along the way, movement stopped being about connection and started being more of a performance. A performance in a lot of instances to try to be perfect or the best or be a part of what's happening now. And you've probably been told you need to do more. You need more steps, more miles, more classes, more sweat to be healthy. But that message comes from the same system that told you a small drink should fill the entire cup holder and be the size of your forearm. It's just never truly been about your well-being, but about keeping you focused on chasing more. But the truth is, your body doesn't need extreme effort to thrive. It needs consistency, circulation, and calm. And this message, I really, really hope it, particularly if you experience chronic illness, that you hear this, because we often think, oh my gosh, I can't do X, or I need to do more of Y. But what we really need to do is think more about moderation and better understand how we're able to be consistent, which is something we commonly fall into a trap of losing, particularly when we have things like flare-ups or illnesses and need to figure out how to navigate it. One of the interesting examples of this and the push for more is when you look at what step counting has evolved into. So if we look at purely the science behind counting your steps, the focus is really on movement. Studies show the biggest health jump goes from when you go to from almost no movement to 4,000 to 5,000 steps a day. Beyond 7,000 to 8,000 steps, the benefits start to level off. And then the famous 10,000 step goal, that was literally marketing. It came from a 1960s Japanese pedometer ad, not a medical study. So the magic really isn't in the number and in more. It's in consistency and moving regularly, not endlessly. And these choices help to keep your heart, blood sugar, and calm all in balance. So let's reframe this a bit. You don't have to earn your food or punish your body to prove commitment. You just have to move often enough that your energy can circulate. Gentle stretching, a slow walk after meals, dancing around your living room. These all count. Every bit of movement you enjoy, it sends your body the message like you're safe, you're good. You can release, you can relax, and it keeps those signals going back and forth so that you don't have static. What I'm really getting at is that more doesn't always mean better. And another example would be the difference in benefits people with PCOS see when they're doing HIIT workouts versus slow weighted workouts. HIIT workouts are actually worse for people with PCOS because it raises the stress in your body. So when you think of better, I encourage you to think of what is sustainable and what you can do consistently. We're going to pause for a small reset practice. Today's reset is going to be something you say out loud. I actually would encourage you to keep your eyes open and to say this in front of a mirror if you can. You can sit or stand as tall as you possibly can. Take a deep breath in. Release it. And you're going to say, I am aware. I am enough. I am capable. I choose change. Take another deep breath in, let it out, and let that breath remind you that balance is all about consistency. When we treat movement, food, and productivity as things we have to earn, instead of just consistent habits to live by, the body never gets to rest. Over time, that constant push for more, whether it's more pressure, more workouts, more restriction, it becomes another form of stress. And your body, your nervous system, it can't tell the difference between a hard workout, a deadline, emotional overload. It just registers, I'm not safe. Things are not good right now. And that's when these small imbalances start layering into and become chronic ones. When the body is stuck in fight or flight, cortisol and adrenaline stay elevated. This means that you have more glucose circulating through your blood. Your body has more energy to burn because it thinks it needs to do something and it is in fight or flight. Your blood pressure rises and you're experiencing these blood sugar. This causes the immune system to get confused and it starts reacting even when there isn't actually a threat. Over months and years, that stress chemistry contributes to some of the most common chronic illness conditions today. Some of these include type 2 diabetes, and this is when the body stops responding to insulin after years and years of energy overload. Also, hypertension and heart disease. And this is when you're in consistent go mode, which in turn keeps the cardiovascular system super tense all the time. It can also lead to fatty liver disease. And this fatty liver disease is interesting because it's also a comorbidity for people who have PCOS, and this is due to the impact of insulin resistance. So the liver stores what your body can't process when your intake is high and your energy use is erratic. So over time, if it's constantly having to store more and more glucose, because you're not consistently using that energy. It can influence fatty liver disease. And then lastly, it's also connected to autoimmune and inflammatory conditions. These are all dysregulated immune responses that can't tell the difference between healing and harm. And here's the even bigger paradox. The more those systems fatigue, the harder it then becomes to sense balance or to know when you've had enough. This causes you to lose touch with hunger, fullness, rest, and recovery cues. Basically, let's pretend your body is a car. All the lights on the dashboard are just flashing. You're getting alerts everywhere. You've just learned to tune them out. You don't see or hear any of them. You're like the person who never changes their fire alarm battery. So I'm sitting here telling you that moderation is key. And you might be thinking, but wait a second, professional athletes train constantly. How come they're not falling apart? But here's the thing. Professional athletes live inside a closed system that helps them to maintain balance between input and output. And that's the simplest way to put it. But if you want to get into details, their intensity is paired with so much structure. Coaches, nutritionists, recovery specialists, sleep protocols, and regular health monitoring. For every single hour of output, there's a planned input. Whether it's fueling, massage, hydration, cold therapy, rest days, whatever, there's a plan and structure around it. So for them, their more is managed. It's structured, it's calculated, it's coordinated, it's supported, and it's timed for recovery. That's just not the reality that most of us live in. For the average person working, commuting, caregiving, running on limited sleep, adding relentless output without restoring input just deepens our imbalances. It's like borrowing energy from a bank account that you never deposit into. Athletes don't thrive on more, they thrive on balance and structure. The goal here really isn't to copy their workload, it's to adopt their principle. Match your output with your input. Eat when you move and rest when you've been pushing yourself. And remember that you can recover just like it's a normal part of your week, not a reward for finishing the week. The solution isn't doing less of everything. It's doing the right amount for you. It's the amount that keeps your body in balance instead of revolt, which is living at either end of these more extremes. Small, consistent actions are where healing happens. It could be regular meals that stabilize blood sugar, daily gentle movement that supports circulation, true rest, making sure you're getting enough sleep versus being completely depleted all the time, hydration and breathing that help to reset your nervous system's baseline. These small acts are medicine, and they help to repair what this constant overdrive breaks down. All the way at the beginning when I said take back your agency, it wasn't just about control. It was about consistency and sustainability. Healing begins when you stop asking your body for more and start listening for enough. Now that we talked a bit about what enough means, how you can get into a trap of more, and what that looks like, whether it's looking at your input with consumption or your output with movement, let's take a few minutes to reflect on what that means to you and dive into our guided journaling exercise. As always, we're going to give you 3 minutes to reflect on each question. You can either write it down or just think about it, say it out loud. If you don't need the full 3 minutes, feel free to skip ahead. Let's get into it. What are some areas in my life where I have let the system convince me that small progress doesn't count? What would reclaiming my version of enough look like? What one decision around food, rest, or movement can I reclaim for myself this week? So listen, at the end of the day, I say this over and over again, and I'll continue to say it today. We know the system's broken. We know it's not going to change overnight. I haven't given up on change, but I do believe that we should live in the reality of how do we navigate under the current system to feel as good as possible. But what we can't do is to keep letting it continue to define our wellness, our worth, or our wins. Enough. It's not about complacency. It's about clarity and understanding what works for you. And that clarity is where you're going to find your power and take back your agency. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Grounding Hour today. If you're a Bloom Plus member, don't forget to log on to our site to download the session worksheet and the next steps guide. Otherwise, until next time, thank you, be well, and keep coming back.